Hi, Tracy here with the Idea Closet, and I am here with the final video. We have been all week showcasing some of the new techniques that Silhouette Studio version 4 and version 4.1 have come out with. There are a lot of really cool things. So this week we have worked with glyphs, we've worked with the warp feature, and we have also made a pop-up card. So today we're going to work with the image to wrap, or wrap image, and we'll make this wreath card. Let me show you what we're going to do. This card is actually a print and cut card, so it's a little bit different than the other projects that we've worked on this week. Let's go ahead and get started by opening up our Silhouette Studio. And as I have done all week long, I brought in the picture of the card so that as we're making it, you can kind of see what we are doing. The first thing that we'll need to do with this is we want to draw our card base. So I'll hit my R button to get my rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and then we're going to resize it. So up here is our quick access toolbar, and we're going to change this. Make sure that the padlock is open so that you can change both sides. And we're going to change this to 3.75 by 5 inches. So this rectangle is a little bit smaller than my normal card bases, and the reason why is I wanted to put this yellow scalloped rectangle behind it. This is actually found in the Silhouette store, and you can go ahead and find it and download it if this is part of the card that you want to use. The next thing we need to do is we need to draw this wreath shape. So I need my ellipse tool. I'm going to just click and drag and make an oval, and then I'll need to resize it. And you can just drag this to get the shape that you want, the size that you want, but because I've already done this, I know that I want this to be 3 inches by 2.5 inches. And then if you want to double check, you can always drag it over into your box, and it looks like it's going to fit. We may have to change it up just a bit. If you look on my card, I'm going to zoom in really close so that you can see it. On the background we have some green circles, or the actual wreath, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's really easy. So we'll fit to window, and that will just take us back to our main screen. And I need to make 3 copies of this oval. Hold Control if you're working in Windows and your down arrow button. 1, 2, 3. Quick, easy way to get 3 shapes. We're going to take this top one and just kind of slide it off for a minute, because that will be our actual wreath, and this will be the background, or the green background. I'm going to select all of those, and then I want to change my line color. Right here is the line color window, and if I hit the drop down button and hit green, then I have my lines, and they've turned to green. I'm going to select these bottom 2, and I'm actually going to change them to a point of 2.0 and hit enter. And then the top one, I'm going to do 1.0. And all that does is just thickens up the line a little bit so that you can see it. On the bottom one, let's select it by clicking on it, and I'm going to come here to where the line style window is and do the drop down, and then hit the second perforation mark, and it just gives us some dashed lines. Now if you wanted to, you could open up the line style panel and do all of that in that panel, but I like that it's all up here on the quick access window toolbar. Okay, we're going to select all 3 of these, and then up here we have a center button, and this will center all of the images that are selected. So we're going to click on it, and it brings all 3 of those images right on top of each other. So it looks like we only have one. I'm going to click off, and then I'm going to click on the top one, and using my arrow key again, I'm just going to click a couple of times to move it. I like using the arrow key because sometimes I think it's a little more precise. I'm going to come click on this other one and do the same thing, maybe move it down. Oh, I got the same one. So click on it, move it down, move it over. There we go. Now we've got them kind of separated a little bit. So you can rearrange these however you want. Doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong. I'm going to, once you get them the way that you want, select all 3 of them, and then let's group. So right click and then just hit group. And that will be the background for your wreath. And we'll slide it over here. To do the wreath, we need to open up some flowers. So I'm going to go to my library, and I've already selected some flowers, so I'm going to merge those flowers, right click and merge, right onto my mat. I need to move this out of the way just a little bit. Our 2 flowers, I don't want the center pieces because if you'll notice I used some little epoxy dots for my centers, so we don't need these, but you could if you were not going to use the epoxy dots. I'm going to just select them and delete, and I just use the delete on my keyboard. Next step is we want to color these, so I'm going to select it and come over to my fill window. I'm going to do my small one as yellow. I'm going to do my larger one as a red. Drop down and go to red. And then I kind of want them lined up just a little bit more. It's totally up to you. We're going to group them. And then obviously they are way too big, so I need to make them smaller. And I really just dragged this till it was about 0.8 inches tall. There's no right or wrong. You can play around with it, but that looks good right there. So let's bring this over here, and then let's bring our ellipse tool right down here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And in fact, I'm even going to zoom in a little bit so you can really see what we're doing. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to find our tool. So it's under the replicate panel. So we'll open up the replicate panel, and it's this one right here that those are actually called grab handles. It looks like a circle with a dot in the middle and 3 smaller dots. So we'll circle or click on that, and this is our object on path. So it's the flowers that we want to put on the path. Our oval is the path, our flowers are the object. We're going to select the flowers and hit show grab handle. And right here is our grab handle. Now watch the magic. All I'm going to do is put my cursor over this grab handle. It's going to change colors, and I'm going to drag it down to the path. And as soon as I do that, it duplicates it and it spreads it all out. Now over here, we can hit this handle and we can kind of pull it apart, and we can move our images so that they're really far apart or right on top of each other, or however it is that you want them. And we can also do it with this. So it's up to you, however you want it to look. You kind of play around with it. There's no right or wrong. I think I actually had decided that I liked this one closed and this one a little bit farther, a little bit closer. That looks good. We are going to select everything, and then we are going to right click, and we're going to convert this to a path. And the reason that we're doing that is so that when we move the path, which is that oval, everything will stay in that group. So we're going to convert it to a path. There we go. We're going to come and click right here on this red line, move it out of the way, and delete it because we don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to select all of these. As you can tell, when I click on one, they each have their own bounding box. So we want to group everything. I'm going to select it all, right click, and group. Now if I hit my fit to window and bring my wreath over, or my green background, and my flowers, they fit right on there, just however you want them. And you can play around with your grab handles and get just the exact perfect look that you want. This one is a little bit different than my card, but as you play around with it, you'll get an idea and a feel for it of how you want it. So then we're going to select everything and group it. And I'm also, whoops, I'm going to undo that because before I do that, I forgot one very important step. On this, because it's a print and cut, we need to turn off those lines. I'm going to come up here to my line style window or line color window and turn them off. And to turn them off is the hash mark. So I'll turn it off, and now there's no cut lines on my flowers. Now I can combine them with the green circles behind it, select everything, and group. At this point, we're ready to move it up onto our mat, and as you can see, it's just a little big. I thought that it might be. Not a big deal, because it's all grouped. We can select it, and then we can just size it down to the size that we want it. Very, very simple. The next thing that we're going to do is we want to put this celebrate into the middle of our circle. Now, you could very easily type out your own word in whatever font you want, but if you remember the first video, I showed you how to use glyphs. So we're going to use a glyph or a dingbat again. I'm going to come up here to where I'm in the textile window, and in your search, I'm going to type in LW for Lori Whitlock, birthday dingbats. Click on it to select it, and now I'm going to open up the glyph file or panel. If you don't have this, go back and watch the first video, and it'll give you another way to do this that's very simple. I'm going to click on my text tool, click on there to get my cursor, and then I'm going to just click on celebrate, and it shows right up. So what I did was, it was a font, and I clicked on the gray to deselect. I clicked back on it to select it as an image, and I'm going to just make it a little bit bigger and make sure that it can fit right inside the middle of my wreath. That looks perfect. Now, because this is a print and cut, I need to open up the fill color and fill it with a color. I'm going to use purple, why not? And then we're going to turn off our cut lines. So we hit the hash mark. And that is all that you have to do to make that card front. I'm just going to group everything. For those of you who are not familiar with a print and cut, I'm going to run through this just really, really fast and show you how to set this up as a print and cut. So the first thing you would do is open up your page setting panel, and you want to change it to a size that your printer is. For most of us, that would be your letter size. It's going to change your mat down to a letter size. Open up your registration marks. Under Style, hit the drop-down menu and go to the type of machine that you own. The image, of course, has to be inside those red marks and inside the hash marks for it to print and cut properly. So I'll move it around. And you actually have enough room that you could put 2 of these. You'd have to flip it, but you could do 2 of them. Then we'll go to the Send window. It's going to take it just a minute. Material is of course, the cardstock is what I normally use. We're going to cut it, and we're going to do whichever blade you want. As I said before, I have the titanium blade, so I usually choose the ratchet blade. Now, if we keep it on simple, it wants to cut out everything. We don't want to do that. So we have some options. We can do by line color. And if we do by line color, we have 3 options. We have no color, red, and green. If we turn off the green, the only thing that's going to cut out is the card base. So it will print this, but it's only going to print out the card base. You could also do it by fill color. I'll go over there. It's a little more difficult. You've got to turn things on and off and whatever. I really just like to do the line color and make sure red is the only one that's checked and everything else is unchecked. Once it's ready to go, you're going to come up here to your Send to Printer button, and you will click on your printer button and then find your printer and hit print. So it's going to print first. I'm not going to print it right now. And then when it comes out of your printer, it's going to have these registration marks right here. 1, 2, 3. The red line and the hash lines will not be on there. And everything in here will be printed. Your red box will not be. Once that's all done and everything is set up over here, you put it on your mat, just like it shows on the screen, and hit send. And it will read those registration marks. There's an I underneath your blade holder. It will read those registration marks, and then it will come back and it will cut that rectangle right around the flowers. And then you have your card base. So that is all there is to setting up a print and cut and to use that object or image to object wrap. The image to object wrap, I believe, is only available in Designer Edition, but it's a fun tool. So if you've got that, go ahead and play around with it and let's see what you can come up with. I'm envisioning fall wreaths with leaves, or Christmas with poinsettias. There's so much you could do with this. I hope you have enjoyed this week with all these tutorials. Leave a message on my blog. Don't forget to sign up for the free ebook giveaway from Silhouette Studio that I have going on. And thanks for joining me. Bye.